And for our benefit today, we have Fred Haley. And do any of you have a book inside you? Is it screaming to be let out? Can you feel it in your hands? Can you see the cover? Can you read the lines? What's keeping it inside you? What's stopping you from actually writing that book? Will it be too much work? Will it take up too much of your time right now? Are you too busy with Toastmasters or work and home responsibilities? You're not alone. Look around you. Everyone else in this room, I think, feels the same, which is why we're here. But today, things will change. By the end of this 1-hour workshop, you'll have a solution. Your book will begin to be born. Our presenter, Fred Haley, can help you just do that. He's been a member of Toastmasters for over 15 years. He's earned 2 DTMs, and most importantly, Fred has published 6 books, including one recently released by his wife. 3 of these are listed on Amazon.com. Today, Fred will show you how to use your Toastmasters skills to get your book completed and also get that book into print. He will give you a simple process of outline to become a published author in 2015. He will also show you some of the resources that he has used to help him along the way. With the handout that he's provided you, you will start the outline of your plan for that book. Please welcome Fred Haley as he presents the interactive workshop, Write Your Next Book with Toastmasters. Fred Haley, please.
Welcome to the Future Best-Selling Authors Club. My name is Fred Haley, and I am going to make sure that you advance to the next level of a published author and then to the next level of an actual bestsellers club. Sound good?
Good. Fantastic.
We will do that. Now, I'll let you know how I've done it. Oh, that I actually have. I have published 6 books. Now, some of them were just fun books. Best Dad in the World, that I created for my membership list. She is the best mom in the world. Stories from my members for them, to give to their people. My 10 Secrets, How to Lose 100 Pounds. I've lost 100 pounds and I put a book together on how to do that. And then a companion workbook, Simple Eating Tips. And this one is available on Amazon. That one's not because I am rewriting it. I wrote my own love letters that I published and is on Amazon. And then recently, with my wife, who has a radio show, we put together this book. Cool little book, isn't it? Pretty big. Good selling book. A lot of people buying this. On caregiving. She has a radio show called Tools Tips for Caregivers, and she talks everywhere about caregiving. And that is for sale now on Amazon. So we're going today to help you get to that level, to be able to get that book out. And I know you're all busy, you all have a lot of things going on, and it is difficult. You have a handout in front of you. First line is your name. I want you to take this worksheet home and continue to look at it, continue to work on it, continue to reference it, because this will help you as you go along. Then it asks for your first decision. What is your C? Can anybody tell me what your C might be if you want to write a book?
Confidence.
Close. Confidence is a good name. How about commitment? Commitment. It is going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort to get that book out. It will mean a little bit of sacrifice. It will mean thinking about it and concentrating on it, taking away from other things you might want to do. The only way to do that is to have some commitment. How do you find that commitment? Well, let's think about this next question. Why do you want to write your book? Start to list some of the reasons. I'm going to ask some of you to share your reasons for wanting to write this book. Write down, what might it be? Is it
to get your points, to get your ideas.
Get your ideas across, good. Or maybe it's just to show your ex-wife that you can actually accomplish something. Or to show your dad that you were not a dead dumb beat that you thought you were. Maybe it's just to prove to yourself that you can do it.
And to help other people from your own
Very
experiences.
good. That's the most important, to help other people. Why do I want you to write these down?
makes it more concrete, more, you hold yourself more accountable when
Yes.
you just put it down on paper.
Exactly. And I gave a list of 7. I'm hoping you can split that in half and write 14. Why? Because the more reasons you have to do something,
The more you'll be
the
passionate.
more passionate you'll be about it, the more likely it will be to happen. If you just put one line down, I want to make money, okay, that may be a good goal. But if you say, I want to make money so I can retire early, I want to make money so I can help some other people, I want to make money so I can go travel the world, or maybe do mission work. If you can say, I want to do it for some good reasons, you can really continue to look at this, you'll be more likely to have that happen. So the first thing I want you to do is think about, why do you want to write this book? Start to write some notes down, but then continue to share with us. Anybody else want to share a reason? We have one gentleman, I presented this at the Orlando meeting, and he said he had just gone through this really terrible divorce. And he had learned a lot of lessons about himself and about the whole process. And he just wanted to share it with other people. It's a tough thing to talk about, but he was going to do it. But he's going to do it so he could help other people. And maybe it's a little bit of therapy at the same time. That's fine. Next question. What's stopping you from writing this book?
Lack of internal motivation.
Lack of motivation, yes. Lack of motivation is always a good one. And that's why you have these first questions.
Fear.
Fear. Fear of?
Fear of failure, fear of grammar, fear of context, fear of exception,
Okay.
fear of...
Good. That's a very good point. You may feel, well, no one's going to use it. That's when you go back to the reasons. I may have some fear, but I can really see why I want to do it, and that will help you overcome that. You start to say.
Well, lack of time also, because most of the time you say, I don't have time.
Lack of time, yes, lack of time. And that's something we are going to address today. Good, very good point. Start to look at those reasons, because when you start to look at those obstacles, and then start to look at those reasons that you want to, you will see how the reasons for will overcome the reasons for not. Start to focus on it. And when you can start to picture why you are not, you can start to find answers for that and overcome them. The third question, how would you help your readers?
Most of the times, like especially the emotional problems, everybody has it. So if you overcome your emotional problem and you help the people, like how you overcome, how you pass through that stage and how successful you are today.
Yeah.
So in a way it brings motivation to them, and they are really encouraged to write down.
Mm-hmm.
So they further, so this process continues.
Very good. Let me ask you this question. What is the number one goal of every speaker? I usually say it's AV. Begins with an A, first word, second word begins with a V. Whenever you get up to speak, you want to add value. You want to help them. You want to give them some information that will help them solve a problem, or just give them information that will make them better and make them be able to do things that they didn't think they could. You are adding value. So that's really what you want to do. Whenever you write your book is not for you, your book is for your audience, to be able to add value to them. That's what all my books are about. This is helping caregivers, give you some motivation and inspiration. These are helping people lose weight. This is just inspiring them during grief to get through it. That you can get through grief. This is just to make people feel better. Adding value. So today we're really going through 4 steps. The first step is a vision. Why do you want to do that? Once you make that commitment, you will start to work on that book. You will find answers to those obstacles. You'll overcome. You'll find the time. You'll make the time. Take this continue to work on it. Just an aside, if you miss something, I am videotaping this and we are going to put it on YouTube, and the reason I asked for your email, because I will send you the link to the YouTube video. And then I will continue to get in touch with you to make sure you are following the plan that we're going to work on today, because I want to help you make that book happen. I want next year to be able to hold your book in my hand, not just ours. We're going to the next page. Plan your book. Raise your hand if you have an idea for what your topic's going to be. Some of you do. Raise your hand. Keep your hand raised if you've already started working on the book. Just one, two. Okay. Raise your hand, or keep your hand raised if you already have it published. You're getting there. You have two already published? Very good. Okay. Next time, I will help you teach this course so we can share the wealth. Good, good. What are your books about?
They're fiction. One is a children's pirate. The other one is a mermaid adventure.
Cool. Cool. Well, you can help us with some of these answers, because this isn't interactive. We all want to help each other. And maybe share some of your thoughts. First question always is, what is your topic? And as we said before, what do you have that can help other people? Even a children's book is just entertaining, and it's helping the kids. It's really helping the kids picture and get so they can grow. Do you have a success? Something you do well? Something you're passionate about? Do you have something where people come to you and say, how do you do this? It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be something that people want to know. It's an accomplishment. Or, if you had a failure, if you really messed up something, really been in the dumps, lost, but now you're coming back. Well, think about it. You are in the situation where other people are going to be. Do you want them to go through those same struggles, or do you have advice? You have something that you can tell them that can help them avoid those mistakes, avoid those problems. That's why you write the book. That's why they want that book. Those audience want that book so that they can help to overcome them. I do a whole workshop on public speaking and becoming a professional speaker. One of the lessons is on know your audience. And it comes down to one thing. Who is your audience? Your audience is you. Your audience is the former you, the person who was going through that. Those people who are going through that just like you were. Your audience is the past you. And now you can help them. Same with the book. Same with the book. So start to think, what do you have? What do you know? What have you been through that can help other people? That could be the topic. Doesn't have to be big. It's something that can make a difference to somebody. Your audience isn't everybody. It's those people. It's the former you. Then try to think about, what does the audience want? Here's what we're doing in this whole page. Is you're starting to plan your book. You're starting to get a picture of what your book is about. So we won't have time in 45 minutes to be able to go through and write your book, but we will get you started. 3 options for a book. Depends on what your topic's going to be. A how-to book. How do you help other people do something? Maybe you are not an expert. Maybe you don't think you know enough. There are other people who have. Can you interview them? I started to write a book on interviewing district speech champions, the speech contest champions. Right now, Toastmasters doesn't seem to like the idea, so I sort of backed off on it, but it still would help. And Toastmasters wants to be saying, they have their own rules on using the Toastmaster name. But the idea of helping someone by interviewing an expert, you're interviewing someone who's already gone through it, that could be your book. If you have an idea of something you want to learn about, you want to help others with, you don't think you know enough, interview somebody. Or it could be a story, a nonfiction. like yours. And each story, each chapter is a bit of a story, a bit of a next step in a story. So picture that. You have a topic. How would you want to structure your book? As a how-to? Here's the steps. Or an interview? Here's the people and here's what they did? Or as a series of stories? I'm going to give you a second to think about that. Okay. Now that you're starting to picture. Now look at the outline, the general outline for your book. Any book is going to start with an introduction. Here's what my book is all about, here's why I did it. Then there'll be a forward. Here's what I'm going to talk to you about. Then the steps, or the stories, step by step. Here's how you do it. Here's what go from point A to point G, or X, or Y, however many there are. Step 1, do this. Step 2, do that. Or the interviews. This person learned this lesson, this person learned that lesson, and development. So what are you doing? You're developing your message. You're going through the points, just like you do in a speech. And then you finalize your book with your conclusions. Here's what we've learned. Here's what you can do now. Here's what your next step is. Does that sound too simple?
Yes.
It does, doesn't it? Guess what? It is. The hardest part is the steps. Once you figure out what your topic is, once you figure out how to achieve the goal, or what you've done, you can start with, here's where you are, here's the materials you'll need, here's what first step will be. Start to plan those steps. Right? This is the easiest part. But it's the most important part. Take a book. Take any book. What do you see at the beginning? You see a dedication, disclaimer, an introduction, and a table of contents. What have I just talked to you about? The how-to, the introduction, the forward, the your steps, and the conclusion. Write your table of contents. When you think about your speech, your book, think about your table of contents. Write it out. Just a simple outline. Yes, it's simple, but that's all you need to do. You don't have to decide what is in each one of those. Okay? You can do that. Plan your book. Plan ahead. All right, now that's the easy part. You can do that in a weekend, can't you? How do you write it? Here's where you have an amazing opportunity that most people do not have. Here's where you can do something that many other people who are not in your situation can't do. Why are you here today? Because you're in what group? Which does what? Speech. Have you ever thought? Introduction. Explain who you are, why you wrote the book. What does that sound like? Sound like an icebreaker? Yes. Forward. Summarize the message, how you will help other readers. That sound like organize your speech? Conclusions and lessons. Motivate and inspire readers to take action. Does that sound like motivate and inspire speeches 9 and 10?
So by the time
Persuade them with power.
you'll be done with the book.
Then you have speech number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 to do your steps. How many write your speeches out? I don't. To be honest, I don't. But what I do is I go back to several different clubs and do it. I'll go to one club, practice it, and go to another club and I'll make it better. True or false? You have to have a new speech topic every time you give a speech.
False.
False. You can do the same speech more than once. You can do the same speech in your club. You can do the same speech for all eight projects in the manual if you want to. You know, Or go to different clubs and practice it, because each one will be different. Just what I forgot to do, but I'm doing anyways. Yep. What is this? It's a tape recorder. Sure. Record it. Little microphone. I usually have it on, but I'm recording today. Record this. Record your speeches. Listen to them. That becomes each speech one chapter in your book. So you are earning your competent communicator manual while you are writing your next book. Does that sound too simple? Does that sound too easy? Does that sound like something you can do? Yes. And then the nice part, you talk. But then you can edit this later on. You can edit the text. You go, and then what do you do with this taped part? You can get it transcribed. You can transcribe it yourself. If you write it already, you can do it. If you don't want to, you can get it transcribed. There are several websites. I used, because we had a special format, and because I had 8 hours of tape to transcribe, we used a site called Elance. There's elance.com, and that's on the back page. On the back page. You don't have to write that down. There's also a site called Fiverr, Fiverr.com, and that's on here too. That you can get 5 to 10 minutes of speech for $5 transcribed. You can get one of your competent communicator manual speeches transcribed for $5, and frankly, for me, it's probably worth it once I get to the one I really like. The nicer ones, the one when you go to Freelance or Elance, they can format it the way you want to. And if you have a lot, then you might want to have it specially formatted. This was sort of a dialogue format with the speaker and then the text, so it made it a little bit harder for just a general transcription. Take your speech, plan it, plan your book, outline it, record it. Now, how many pages do you want in your book? This book, 40 pages. Pretty small, sell it for $5. This one, 150 pages. A little bit more, sell it for more. It has a bigger audience, so I can sell it for 15. Maybe you have a book you want more volume, you want to have more pages, and it's not coming out too many. Well, there's ways of doing it. Think about this. I have these estimates. 150 words a minute that you usually speak. Average, sometimes 170, sometimes low. And when you start to edit, you start to edit out some of those extra words. So it'll come down to maybe 150 words. You have 250 words in a page. So you would have about 10,000 words in 10 speeches. But you can change it with the book size. This is a standard book size, you can tell. But there are smaller ones, but there are bigger ones. Now, here's a trick. How many people have you seen today who are using PowerPoint? How many people do you always see using PowerPoint? Where's my PowerPoint? I stopped using it. I'm using this. They say don't use notes. Yeah, but a long speech, it's okay. Here's a secret. Here's why I do this. This helps you because you're following through. This helps me because I'm staying on track. And if I write a book, this 4 pages becomes 10 pages of text. If you want to do a how-to book, you go to your speech, you do a handout that's a fill in the blank, and you have some extra pages for your book. And I'm not just saying extra pages for your book. I'm saying extra pages to help your audience. Because your audience is going to want to try to think those out. You can put the answers in the back, which is extra pages. It's also helping your audience. And when your audience is filling them out as they're reading it, instead of listening to it, when your readers are filling it out, they are getting involved and they are helping themselves. Another aside, coaches. Most coaches are most coaches are told, don't give them the answer. Have them give you the answer by just asking the questions that you need to ask. Same with this. You help your audience. You give them some direction and help them figure out their own answers. And you can do that with worksheets. So what do you do after that? You've got a whole bunch of books, speeches. You've got them together. You've practiced. You've got it edited. You can go through and edit again. Or you can go out and give another one and transcribe it again. Finally, you have your book together. If you want to do a children's story book or just a fiction book, it's a different outline, but those are just stories, right? Maybe one story that continues, or a series of stories, little different stories that you do. Well, they'd be great speeches. They'd be great speeches, even if it's for kids, man. Your audience would enjoy it. All you need to do is just tell your Toastmaster of the day, tell the host, this is what I'm doing. Tell him, make sure the audience understands, I am doing this. I am telling you my next chapter in this book, and this has happened before. And that's what the whole speech is going to be on. Just sort of set it up. You can use it. That'd be easy. Okay, so far I've heard and seen a lot of head shaking. Yes, this is easy. Are you going to do it? Yes. I want to see you do it. I know what you can. There are some additional pages you would need to consider. The inside cover. You take the cover, and usually inside is the cover. But it just is something important. And when you go out to sign it, you do your autograph, because everyone's going to want your autograph. That's where you can sign it. There's a disclaimer. This is my information. It's, follow the doctor's advice if that's what you need to say. Dedication. Oh, you do want a dedication, right? I would appreciate being part of the dedication, but I don't have to be. I know it will be in spirit. But your family, your boss, whoever is the one who's motivating you to write your book, put them in the dedication. Table of contents, and then about the author, and then the worksheets. Here's what I've just gone through. I said, in these 3 pages, know why you want to write the book. Get that commitment in your heart to do it. Take that time. Plan your book out. Start to think about that table of contents. Start to think about what you're going to talk about, how you're going to help your audience, and how the table of contents will work to be able to follow through. I used to do these emails for my email list. Every week I just send out emails about Toastmasters stuff. And I just random thought, well, I could talk about this because somebody asked me this question. Well, if I had thought, I could have written a book about it. And then had a whole bunch of speeches about it. I didn't plan. I didn't think ahead and didn't outline it. I want you to do that because that will help you get that book that is still in your heart. Last page is just about how to get started. I mentioned transcribing. It could be 75 cents to a minute, $1 a minute. Depends on how nice you want it. How much work you want to do afterward. You may have to go edit it some more. You will have to still edit it, but they may also edit for the grammar and transcription. The $5 one, they'll just edit, transcribe whatever you said, including probably the ahs and ums and ers, and the double clutches. That part is that if you're the grammarian, you're a good grammarian, you can mark yourself off. Design the book cover. Yeah. We went to this elance.com, but there's several websites, as I mentioned, and hired somebody. It was like $50 for a really nice cover. We went through several iterations. We gave them some general ideas. So we wanted the heart. We wanted a couple. And they came up with, and here's what the title is. They came up with that and the back. And I didn't know about this until then. They said, how many pages is your book going to be? Why is that important? Because when you go to publish it, you know you need the spine wide enough. Oh. Has to be at least 100 pages in order to be able to put the name of the book on the spine. I didn't know that. You do. But the person who we hired to help us said that. So that helped us a lot. You can get something done inexpensively. You can go to a company and they may spend and charge you $500, $600. When you go to these freelance places, you say, this is what I want to do, here's some general ideas, and you get bids. And the bid may be anywhere from $20 to $700. The person may be in Florida, they may be in California, or they may be in the Ukraine or Portugal. They're all around the world. They can do good jobs too. There is a software called Dragon Naturally Speaking. If you want to get it transcribed yourself, and that's what I'm doing, but get the premium edition, not the home edition. I learned that the hard way. Because the premium edition will transcribe audio tape. The home edition only is your direct talking.
It's called Dragon Naturally.
Yeah, it's on the back page. On the back page that highlighted Dragon Naturally Speaking, the premium edition. It's on Amazon for about $110, but you can also go to eBay. I got an older version that was like $40. Yeah.
Does that edition translate international languages?
Yes, there are versions that will translate in other languages. Yes, very good point. Yes.
You also have an app. Dragonfly has an app now because I have that. But
Okay.
it does not, which I did not know about the audio tape piece
Mhm.
of it. So.
Yeah, like I said, the home edition does not. The premium edition does, and you just train it. You record it. They gave me 5 or 6 choices, including Dave Barry's article on cyberspace, which is a fun little one, or John Kennedy's inaugural address, and or a couple other versions. I said, just read 5 minutes of that into the tape it, put it into your computer, and then connect it to the software. And the software learns your voice, learns your inflections, and learns how you pronounce words. So when it goes back and starts to actually transcribe, it will know, have a good idea what you're trying to say. A little program. It works. It's a little expensive and it's not perfect, but nothing's perfect. It's a good start, and it's certainly cheaper than getting even the $5 for 10 minutes. The publishing, the final part. You have all this book together. What do you do with it? How do you get it published? And what we did was publish it on Amazon. And Amazon has 2 websites, and there's 2 ways of publishing. You want a hardcover or do you want digital? Do you want a paperback or do you want Kindle? If you go Nook, it'd have to be a different direction. We went Kindle. CreateSpace, and it's on there. CreateSpace is the publishing company for Amazon. They're the ones that we use. Just put this into PDF and download it. There's some certain formatting requirements. Small, easy to do, and they'll tell you if it's not working right. The one little criteria is black and white. If you want to go color, you can, but it's a lot more expensive. It's a lot more expensive. Your decision. It also means you might have to charge more for the book. So we went to black and white, but it's fine. It's just what we need. CreateSpace was able to do that very simply. We formatted it. I kept updating it, kept making little changes because I wanted to, because I thought, well, I don't quite like the look of this. Or I went into the chapter and my wife said, no, I don't like this chapter, I want to change it. After we'd already done it. Okay, so we went back and did it again. It was very simple. Then, after you put this in hard or paperback, they can help you to put it into Kindle. They'll say, here's the next step, here's what you can do. They'll do most of the work. And you can get it offered in both. The nice part about that is they'll print it on demand. What's that mean? That if someone, you don't have to print 500 of these ahead of time and then sell them. Someone asks for one copy, they'll print one copy and send it out. And we charge $15 for this. We get about $6 per book. So there's a little bit of cost in there. But it's not bad. Or we can buy a box ourselves. We just bought 50 for $4 a piece. So we go to a place that Tula, my wife, has a meeting and brings a few of them and she can sell them. You can do the same thing with your book. You can go buy a box and bring them and bring 5 or 10 and then start to sell them on your own. So you have those two options to be able to sell the book. Sell it on Amazon and sell it yourself. And Kindle, just tell them if there's a Kindle version if they want. I mentioned at the very beginning, that first decision, what is your C, what is your commitment? I said that for what reason? Because there's going to be a lot of time, and a lot of effort, and some sacrifice of things you do this instead of things you want to do. We put that time, we put that effort, put a little bit of money into it, put some commitment. It was like, I guess, for her, a book about $400. That was including everything. That was including some mistakes that I made. The reason I'm here today is to make sure that you don't make those same mistakes. I learned a lot in your process because of the information you're getting, and because you will continue to talk with me, and I will be glad to answer any of those questions that you have. We'll be a lot faster, a lot less expensive, and a lot more fun. But you will get your own book, and next, by the end of the year, I will get a copy of that book, and you're going to give it to me for free, right? Yes, I'm going to really increase my library, and I'm going to want to watch and listen and help you and guide you whatever I can, and see you at the end of the year with your own book. Now, plan that, go out, listen to those speeches, invite me to your club, and I'll listen to that speech, and together we'll make sure that next year you will be in the Bestsellers Book Club. Sound good? Yeah. Now, I did have that sign-in sheet, and the sign-in sheet, make sure you have your name and your address, and if you have the idea of a book, put that in there, because I'm going to continue to ask how you're doing on it.
Why didn't you try the traditional publishing route?
We felt that Amazon was the one that most people will go to look at. We could sell it on Amazon, but we didn't want to. They were going to charge a lot more. I didn't want to pay that price. And we knew for us that my wife was going to go in a lot of places and sell the book on her own. And it was a lot less expensive for us to do it that way. So for the cost and the convenience, frankly, if someone goes in a publishing company and they say they're going to publish a book, they'll publish the book. They're not going to advertise it. That's your responsibility to advertise it, and promote it, not them. They'll just print it. So that was no advantage for us, any more advantage than Amazon's, that's why.
So then, you are advertising yourself, but did you see into any other advertising methods that would do it for you?
Such as? We'd go, she has her own email system and her own list, and lets people know about it. She goes out and speaks. How do you promote it? You go out and talk to people. You go out and send emails out and let people know about it. And that's what we do. It's the easier way to do it, yeah.
Have you paid for it, the book itself? By yourselves? Is she selling more than what it cost you to do all of that?
Since we just did this 2 months ago, we're halfway there. Yeah, yeah. And I know that she's going to sell a lot. She sold about, like I said, a couple of 30 or 40 on Amazon, so not too bad. And she's given a lot away because Tula is very proud of that work. But we will be selling a lot as she gets into the workshops that she does. So we know this year is the goal, because we finished it about late last year. We know this year's the time.
How long did it take you?
4 or 5 months. Yeah, and this was material that was already done. I had to decide what shows and pick them and edit them and go through that process. But that was, so it was a little different, but it still would take 4 or 5 months. For you, it should take less time.
I would appreciate if you can give information about the copyright. Suppose your book is successful and the people want to change it into their different languages. So can you elaborate on the copyright, like how should we go about it?
Where is it? Page on copyright. It's copyrighted to Wooten, Tula Tips for Caregivers, 2014, all rights reserved. That's what we need to do. That's legally what we need to do. Follow up on it, make sure that everyone follows that. There's also in the disclaimer, the legal notice, there's some comment, this is not for republication. That's as much as we can do to make sure that we are covered. As far as following up and making sure no one's cheating on it, then that's a different, that's more monitoring, which we don't do. But we do put the copyright in the book and another page. So tell me, what have you learned today? Tell me one thing that you've learned that you think you can apply.
How to transcribe tapes.
How to transcribe tapes, very good, okay, good.
And some sources to help with publishing.
Okay, good.
That you're available for help.
And that's what my email is going to say. As long as I can read your email address, I will let you know that. Continue to let you know that.
Inspired us and motivated us to take action.
You're going to take action, right?
And maybe when you inspire me to create more speeches and record them.
I have asked this question all the time. Maybe it's a good time to ask it. Do you ever have trouble figuring out what your next speech is going to be about?
Yes.
Well, now you won't have to.
Just one book.
One book is 1 or 2 cc's. I've done 7 cc's. Yeah, so. Yeah.
I like your idea of the table of contents, and then that way you can just put your book together like a puzzle.
Exactly. Exactly. It's table of contents. Just the outline of your book is the outline of your speeches, and it's the puzzle that you put together. You make a good point. You don't have to do those speeches in order. You can do them out of order as long as you get them all together.
I think that one of the points that I made is for me to re-deliver my speeches. And there are speeches that I really liked, and I only delivered it once. I could improve it and do it again and again until actually incorporate everything that I need to.
Yeah. I do these series of workshops at our advanced club on becoming a professional speaker. What I do is take the first 5-10 minutes of it and go to my club, maybe go to a second club and practice it. That helps me really see where I'm going with it. Then I take my other speeches and the workshop, and if I can, I will go to another club or do them over again. Yeah, I'll do them this is the second time I've done this workshop. And it's better than the first one. So yes, do them over and over.
A good thing to remember also is when you go to different groups, if you're giving an empowered speech about a personal experience, you inspire other people in different ways because they share that story with you. So be mindful of that also.
Good point. Thanks. Anything else?
No, I think that was wonderful. Like you can convert your speeches to a book. I mean, that was actually an idea. It never occurred. Like, it's really wonderful idea. You can do so much of hard work for your speeches, and your speech is just going in. And it's a wonderful if it can help others.
It'll help. Yep.
Which brings me, you made the layout in your makes it sound so easy to be able to publish it. Probably a lot of people, if they had heard this, would maybe think more seriously about doing it.
I hope so. Yeah. Sure. Well, I will send you the link to the video. You can share that with other people. You can share my email address, and if they want the worksheet, you can share it, or I will send them another one. I want to see a bunch of Toastmasters. Again, this is giving you the unique opportunity that someone who's not a Toastmaster, who's not going out and speaking or practicing speeches, doesn't have. You have your club meeting. You sign up every meeting to give a speech. And that speech is the next chapter in your book? Wow, that is so cool.
Yeah.
And that is your unique opportunity. I cannot do this workshop outside of Toastmasters because that is your unique opportunity. Let's do it. I will see you next time in the Published Authors Club. Correct?
Yes.
Well done.